Hello and welcome to the Talk Football Podcast. And first, let me make my apologies that we haven't put an episode out for a while. I've had a few people let me down and people who have not been able to match up dates with, etc. But we are back. It's episode 15. I am joined by Mr. Andy Reid. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, he's a Man United fan. It's a big day. It's FA Cup semi-final day against Coventry. So we're going to talk about the game a little bit and talk about what's been happening at United over the last couple of weeks or so. So yes, welcome back to the pod, Mr. Reid.
Nice to be back, Hodgie. Been a while.
It has been a while, mate. Yeah, well, it's been a while for everyone, really.
Yeah, it has.
Because we haven't done anything. But yeah, it's good to be back, and I've had some contact with a few other people as well. So we're going to have hopefully a few new episodes coming up and a few new faces popping up on the pod as well. Which would be nice. You know, it's always nice to have different opinions coming in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially like different opinions of different fans as well.
Exactly. Yeah, this is it. Well, FA Cup semi-final day. You know, it's a massive game.
It's a massive game for both teams, really, because Coventry, obviously, Championship side,
yeah,
trying to chase the playoffs in the Championship, and then
flying
going up against Man United at Wembley.
Yeah,
I'd say it's probably bigger for Coventry.
Yeah, there's so much more jeopardy, obviously, for yourselves.
Yeah,
because you can imagine, you know, the repercussions should this not go well today.
Oh, if it doesn't, I think that's it for him.
You would imagine it would be a very, very difficult place to come back from.
Yeah, if we do lose, hopefully, touch wood, touching a TV cabinet wood. If he comes out and says, "Oh, we played well, but we lost," shut up.
And
you're losing to a Championship side.
Yeah. Well, in the chat, Dylan, who was obviously on the last episode, has said hello. So hello, Dylan. Welcome to the pod, mate. Welcome to the chat. Feel free to ask Andy any questions about today's game, etc. as well. And I'll feed them back to him. But yeah, carry on, mate. Sorry.
I'd say it's more of a bigger game for Coventry than it is for us.
I don't know. I'm not so sure because
imagine another Championship side getting to the FA Cup final.
Yeah, I mean, to put this into a bit of perspective with the league, etc. And hello, Will. Well, welcome to the show. To put it into like a little bit of perspective in terms of the league and where you are in that. We've got a game in hand on you. And we've had a poor season, Chelsea. If we win our game in hand on you, we go level on points. Now, if you get knocked out of the FA Cup today, then you know, obviously any chance of silverware goes out the window, of course.
Yeah.
But then if we win that game in hand, it then actually starts looking bad in terms of any form of European qualification.
Squeaky bum time for everyone.
Yeah. So I'd arguably say today was a bigger game for Ten Hag. Maybe not so much in terms of the club or fans, or whatever, because obviously a lot of people will be expecting United to win, and you're going to be massive favourites. But I think for Ten Hag, this is massive because if he doesn't get a win today and he gets knocked out by Coventry, the position surely is untenable.
Especially as well because we've still got to play Arsenal yet as well in one of our last 6 games. I don't know who you guys have got left to play, but one of our games is Arsenal.
Yeah, we got some tough games coming up as well. So, and obviously, you know, our apologies, hay fever. Obviously, our form is massively inconsistent. You know, one week we'll have a great
you'll smash everyone, and then next week
it's like yesterday with City. You know, the chances we had, we should have buried that game, but you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to criticise the players too much, the young players.
Yeah, my manager, he's a Main Road City fan, and I just texted him and went, "You lot are so lucky," and he went, "My arse was clenched." Now, normally he's big-headed, like, yeah, Man City win here, and there, and everywhere, but he even said his arse was clenched the whole of that game.
Yeah, well, our next match is obviously we've got Arsenal on the 21st, which obviously is a tough game, but you know that maybe they'll still be reeling a little bit from going out in Europe and that, etc. So you can never really tell how that might go. But should we win that, you know, then we draw level on points with yourselves and Newcastle in the league.
I mean, that's bad. Considering where you, like you say, where you was at the start of the season.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is,
Ridiculous.
obviously with us, we've, not to touch too much on Chelsea, but we, create so many chances, but it's the same old story all season, really. We don't put them away.
No,
And arguably yourselves have had a bit of that and all. You know, you take Hoyland's goals out of the equation, and there's a bit of a struggle, really.
very. I mean, it's so frustrating. 'Cause the last couple of before he got injured, where he went on that when he went on that, excuse me, French, when he went on that bit scoring form, and he scored what 8 and 7.
Yeah,
finally.
I think,
and then got injured a couple of weeks.
Being a young player though, as well. I mean, there was a lot of expectation, obviously, at the start of the season with him coming in on such a high transfer fee. Definitely. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely grown into the shirt, and he's definitely grown into the club.
Definitely. The last couple of games, though, he's been getting no supply whatsoever. Where the games he was scoring, Rashford, Garnacho, Bruno, Anthony were all getting the balls into him. Now we've gone back to square one again.
Yeah, I struggle to see. I don't know what is the deal with Rashford. I don't honestly. He's taken a lot of criticism in that, but I don't see any effort. I don't see any passion.
No, the only two players I see passion. I know I might get a bit of hate from this. Obviously not from one of them, but Garnacho. Obviously, there's no doubt.
Yeah,
that boy is non-stop running. The other one's Bruno. There's been a couple of games where he's been, oh fuck it, what's the point?
I don't see Bruno as a captain.
No, I don't whatsoever.
I think he throws spits the dummy. Don't get me wrong, he's a very, very good player. But I don't like the attitude sometimes on pitch. I feel that throwing the arms around and the constant moaning. It doesn't strike me as like a natural leader. Now,
no.
If that's the leader that Ten Hag is choosing, and he feels that that's the only person that can lead United on the pitch, that's a problem.
That's saying something, isn't it?
That's saying something. Not so much about Bruno, but it's saying something about the rest of the squad.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I'll give it back to Slabbard.
Maguire. Yeah, I mean, to be fair to him, he's turned it around a bit, isn't he?
He's definitely turned it around.
Maybe a lot of that's due to obviously playing more because of the injuries, etc. And I think yet again, your season's been so inconsistent, a bit like ours, because of the amount of injuries, etc.
Yeah, the injuries
has been a big miss.
Oh, yeah, the injuries this season's been unreal.
Luke Shaw's been a big miss as well. So you have no natural cover at left back.
Varane, as you say, Martinez.
Yeah.
It's been so ridiculous. Like, we don't know what midfield to put out as well. Casemiro has been shit all season.
Yeah, again, great when he came in. He had, a good start to his United career. And
last season, he was a beast.
I just feel, I think the pace of the Premier League has caught up with him now.
Yeah.
And play. I mean, even you look at the likes of Haaland, etc. Second season, not scored the amount. Obviously, they've had some injuries, but not scored the amount of goals that he did last year. Because I think people learn and people pick up on you and if you're not able to change your game as and have a bit more variation in your game, and that I think you will struggle. And I think we've probably seen that with the likes of Casemiro this season, and he's not really had a settled midfield or legs around him either.
Not once. And that's what I think. That's where Coventry are going to sort of dominate us today. It's going to be in that midfield because
Coventry have got good legs. Coventry have got very good legs. They will run, and they'll be on it.
I watched them. I'm sure they played. There was live on Sky, and they played Norwich, and I'm sure Coventry won that. Like it was like 3-1 Coventry. And I'm watching their wingers and.
Yeah, and Sims,
one of their midfielders.
I'm not sure if he's
beasting it.
I'm not sure if he'll be playing today. I think he is. I haven't really looked at Coventry's team in terms of injuries, etc. But if Sims is playing up front today, he's a handful.
We're in trouble.
I think physicality wise and all that, I just think he might have the better of your.
You got to think our defence at the minute is Kabbalah. I can't say his name. And Slabbard.
I know you mean. Yeah. Wan-Bissaka's been filling in at left back, and obviously Dalot on the right.
Yeah. And they've been chopping and changing.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what forward line he starts with today.
What, commentary or us?
Good afternoon, Adam. Welcome to the chat. Yourselves actually. I'd be. I mean, I'd be surprised. I don't know.
The one player,
Would he start with Anthony?
no, mate.
Or is Anthony
I
out
hope he
injured?
does, because the last couple of games he's been putting a shift in.
Yeah, I've not looked at the injuries for United. So, well, and obviously we are still.
Where'd you want the list? It'll be like that, like that big, wouldn't it?
Put your teeth back in your head. Put your teeth back in, Reed.
Better shut my mouth back up. It's that long.
Chat's getting lively. Hello, chat.
Here we go.
It's nice to have obviously people live and can interact with us. So if we get slightly distracted by people in the chat, apologies for that. But and you know, it is what it is. This is a live show.
That's what I mean. It's talk football for a reason. We're talking footy.
Exactly.
It just happens to be.
I'd be interested to see, you know, what he does in terms of the attacking positions today. Like I say, I mean, it's a 3:30 kickoff, isn't it? So
yeah, it is. Yeah.
So we're still a good 45 minutes away from team news, for confirmed team news. Anyway,
I think it'll come up on. Because I'm watching Everton Forest at the minute. I think it'll come up at the bottom when.
Yeah. So
if I see it, I'll let you know.
That'd be an hour before the game, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, Adam says, "Come on, Coventry."
Is that
do you know what?
Is that a Derby, mate? In it?
That's our Derby. That's our resident Derby fan.
I'm watching your favourite rivals, mate. Forest. You know they're in the Premier League.
So obviously, what is the score between that game anyway? I didn't.
0-0, 16 minutes.
I mean, that's a massive game.
It's a massive game for both teams.
They've dubbed it the Naughty Boys Point Deduction Derby.
Yeah. But Man City are still getting away with it. Oh, sorry.
And they will, because they bring the money.
Yeah.
A bit like us, really. But there we go.
Yeah, that's another topic,
story,
another day.
That's a story for another pod. That is. We've got to do a pod on financial fair play, because I can't wrap my head around it. I don't understand it. I think it's just punishment.
How these little, no offense,
it's punishment for
Forest, these littler teams getting done. Then watching the big boys like Chelsea and City just getting away with murder.
I mean, I know we've sidetracked a little bit, but what I don't understand with the Everton one is a lot of the Everton where they fell foul of the amount of money coming in, etc., is on stadium costs with the build of the stadium.
$60,000, yeah.
They've been docked a total of 8 points. Obviously, they had an 8-point deduction, and it reduced to 6 on appeal, and then they got the further 2 points. Right, so a lot of their financial problems have come from the fact that it's to do with the stadium build. And, financially, I know they have spent money on players as well, but the big financial hole that's been left in their finances because of the stadium. So they're gaining no sporting advantage from that whatsoever. No. And yet they get hammered with that. Now, Forest go out and sign, I don't know, over the past
26 players in there?
26, 30 players or something like that. And not cheap either. Spent
Gibbs White was like 40 million, wasn't he?
So they've gained a playing advantage by being able to sign these players, and yet they only get docked 4 points. How does that work? How's that fair?
That might be worth a little Google review for our next pod.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand how they work that out. Obviously, with the City situation, it's a very different thing with these 115 charges. We don't exactly know what these charges are, so we don't know if that involves FFP or etc. Yeah. I just think if you've got a club, I mean, the richest clubs are always going to be the richest clubs. So the richest clubs, Man United, yourselves, you've got a massive turnover, albeit under the Glazers, and obviously with the new investment with Radcliffe, you still have the ability financially to be able to go and spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because your revenue, what you bring in, you're still in, I don't know, the top 8 or 9 or even higher.
We're still a lot of profit, but then the Glazers take it.
Yeah, but that all gets, the way they work all this FFP stuff out, it's all based upon your revenue and what you bring in, your profits and losses. And before, obviously, they take their dividends, the club still takes a massive turnover, because obviously, Manchester United worldwide is arguably, marketability wise, is probably one
One of the
biggest
most known clubs going.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably talking, Real Madrid, Man United, etc.
Barca.
Yeah, and then you get the next tiers. Obviously, City are starting to come up the ladder. Chelsea are hovering
Chelsea,
around
Arsenal,
that because
Liverpool's.
because of the Abramovich years, etc. And yeah, Liverpool, etc. Because of famous history and whatnot. So you're always going to have the ability. Now, and when you get a club like Forest, who are a massive club, under no illusions on that, Forest are a massive club. They've got, they were back-to-back European champions.
Yeah.
So this is a massive club, big history, but yet they can't go out and do what other clubs do because they don't have that revenue stream coming in. I think that's unfair. So even if you've got owners that are mega rich, i.e. Newcastle, they arguably the richest club in the world. Well, not one of them.
Yeah, they are now.
And yet they don't have the ability to go out and sign players. And they might have to lose key players in the summer because of these rules. Newcastle are not going to go into financial difficulties unless, of course, they decide to stop putting the money in. But it's their money, it's their club. Surely,
Yeah.
I don't get it. I think it's unfair, and I think and we've seen it in the past. And obviously, Adam is in, was in the chat or whatever, watching, etc. And
Yeah, the Derby
12-point situation. I just think it punishes the small clubs. I think it punishes the fans more than anything, and I think it's very unfair. And I don't honestly believe that the FAs know what they're doing.
Oh, we won't go on about the FA at the minute, fucking everything up.
well, that's another thing, actually. I mean, it is FA Cup day, and the fact that they've now decided to scrap replays from round one, which is for the small clubs. If you're a Coventry like today,
I don't think they'll be where they are if they didn't get this replay.
Well, the thing is that they've come through and they've been able to enjoy having a lot of TV money throughout this journey through. And yeah, and obviously they had the replay, and it was Everton, wasn't it?
Someone, I forget.
I can't remember now. But yeah, I mean, so you're taking away, and they're talking. Oh yeah, so we're gonna sit down with all the clubs, and we're gonna find a way to financially reimburse them for what they potentially might have lost. And I know a couple of pundits come out and said, "Oh, it's only been like one in 5 out of the last 5 years where a team has gone to a replay against the Premier League team and taken them back to their big ground." But that ain't the point. The point is that there is an opportunity as it stands.
But we nearly did. So when we played Newport, it was 2-2, It was 2-2.
Yeah.
And then we nearly went to a replay with Newport. Now, can you imagine Newport going to Old Trafford? That would be massive.
Imagine that, mate. Honestly, I mean, that kind of revenue coming into a club in, League Two, League One, Conference, whatever. That could potentially keep that club running for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And you're denying. Yeah, I think it's unfair.
Very unfair. I think the Tranmere.
Yeah, I mean,
chairman's come out and said he'll win.
The whole EFL have gone mental, mate. Honestly. All this is pandering to the Premier League and the big clubs because the big clubs don't want to play too many games.
Oh, they're tired, like Jurgen Klopp always says.
And as Willie said in the chat, it's financial unfair play is what it is.
Exactly.
And I 100% agree. 100% agree. Anyway, right, let's turn our attentions back to today's game.
We got there eventually.
Yeah, so let's take a prediction off of you. I'll take an early prediction off you. Now, bearing in mind, this is before we've seen teams, so we'll take an early prediction.
I want to say that we're going to win, but then you never know with United. You think, yeah, we're going to smash everyone. And then, boom, we have the tightest games ever, and we go 0-0s, and you're like, eh.
No, I'm going to
want to say, I reckon they will score, Coventry's, but I want to say 3-1.
I'm going to upset you, and I think
you really say Coventry are going to win.
Listen, I just think they're on a bit of a roll. I think the occasion they're going to be able to play without pressure.
They've got nothing to lose, have they? They're a championship side.
They've got nothing.
Semi-final, the FA Cup at Wembley.
Nothing. Yeah, I've just got a funny feeling that Coventry are going to nick it.
My manager's always said, that's why we've had Coventry in the next round.
Apologies for that, Mr. Reed. It's not what you want to hear, but I just got a funny feeling, honestly.
That's what I want to say. I reckon I want to say that we're going to win comfortably, but
Yeah.
There's just something in the back in everyone's mind. They go, no.
Do you know what? It's just the run that they've been on. There's a lot of it that, and I know Wigan were in the Premier League at the time, but there's a lot of it that just reminds me of the run.
The Wigan, when Swansea won the League Cup
yeah.
as well.
And I've just got a funny feeling for it. I really have.
The FA Cup 2024 winners, Coventry City.
Well, there we go. Willie in the chat has predicted 1-0 Coventry win. I do think United will score. I've just got a funny feeling, and it may well be extra time or something like that. I've just got a funny feeling that Coventry are just going to want it a bit more.
They're going to want. Well, we've got to try and fight for silverware. So this is, as you say, this is the last chance we've got for silverware.
Yeah.
And I know everyone in the comments is going to say it. I want us to win, but sometimes I might just. You never know.
This is the beauty of the FA Cup, and that's why we love this competition. You know, we go into this. You know, look at yesterday. You know, yesterday we had so many chances against City, and City were undeniable favourites for the game. But sometimes it just doesn't work out that way.
It never works out.
You know, and arguably, I mean, if I was playing, I think I would have put a couple of them chances away. You know, I'm not going to slag Jackson off too much. He's a young lad. He's still learning. And I've said this on a couple of comments as well, that I'd be more concerned if Jackson wasn't getting into those positions and getting those chances. The fact that he's actually in the right areas, you know, and this goes back to like looking at someone like Rashford today. What I want to see from Rashford today is him taking
him on.
Yeah, taking people on, but getting into dangerous areas. That's what I want to see.
He's got the speed. He's got the pace.
There's no denying Rashford's quality. Absolutely. But there's clearly a mental thing there that is, whether it's...
Well, it's got to be. For him to keep coming out every week to, obviously, because everyone questions all the players' commitments to the team.
Well, this is it. I mean, you know...
Rashford has to come out every week and say, we are fighting.
Yeah, the very least
fucking not.
You want to see is effort. And what I don't see, you know, like people... He just wanders around the pitch. He's not pressing. He's not, you know...
No.
If you're playing bad and you're not in good form, and one thing, like, you know, to make a comparison with Jackson again, what you won't see from Jackson, despite all those missed chances yesterday, is he kept running. He kept going, and he kept pressing and closing down, and he kept making the runs in behind. There wasn't a fear of missing the next chance. There wasn't a fear of failure.
No.
They keep going. And what I almost see in Rashford, it's almost like he fears, if I miss a chance, if I do this, I'm going to get stick. It's almost like a defeatist attitude that I'm looking at him on the pitch.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
But well, like I say, when we beat Liverpool in last round, everyone was fighting. Everyone was fighting for. I don't know if it's because we was playing Liverpool.
Yeah, there's more.
And then the week
obviously.
I don't know who the fuck we played the week after, and I was just like, "Hey, but this ain't the same United side that I'll watch batter Liverpool."
No, and that's for you where, you know, the inconsistencies lie. Is that
100%?
I mean, and I don't. I don't know with Ten Hag. I think he's a good coach, and
he can. He proved it last season where he got us where he got us. Got us silverware.
Yeah, then he makes strange decisions, and you know, like that, taking Garnacho off, and then he comes out in the press conferences, and then almost blames Garnacho for the result. And I think, well, why are you doing that?
There was another Sancho situation, that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm not, and then obviously there was the big thing. Mark Goldbridge comes out and he makes a couple of tweets having a pop at
Ten Hag, and then Garnacho likes it.
Having a pop at and that's it. And then Garnacho likes it, and so you get all that. And if you're gonna keep having that, and we've seen that over United for the last, say, 3 managers, is that there's too much that comes out the dressing room. But then that leads into the fact that there's a lack of respect for the manager in the first place.
Just off topic, Everton have just scored.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, that puts the cat amongst the pigeons down in the bottom 3.
Yeah.
Does that not put Luton back in the bottom 3?
I couldn't tell you, mate. Obviously, I'm going to
have a quick peek.
Phone, so obviously it'll come up.
I'll have a little look on the table. Let's have a look as it
Who
stands.
scored? Garner? I think that's Garner who scored.
It's kind of gay.
It was no.
Right. So as that stands, that would put Everton a point above Forest and with a game in hand. So that's massive.
Little teeniest deflection, but the keeper, it was the softest shot.
Yeah. Yeah. So
right in the corner. Yeah, Garner, Gana.
Yeah, Idrissa Gana Gay. That'll be. Yeah. So yeah, that takes the pressure off of Dyche a little bit.
A little bit.
There we go. There you go. Anyone watching the show, if you've not got the football on, you're getting live football reporting straight to your screens.
Yeah, literally. So if you ain't got Sky and you can't afford the £100 a month to watch it, there you go.
Well, Adam's just commented Forest. I hope they lose. Obviously, Adam being a Derby County fan,
you got your wish in a minute, Adam.
Yeah, he's got no love lost for Forest. That's for sure.
Forest have been playing well, but it's just Everton's defenders. They're just beasting Chris Wood because he's on his own.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Chris Wood's never exactly been prolific, has he?
No. got a hat trick though.
Well, yeah, but who was it against? I can't remember now.
Someone, Luton, possibly.
Something like that, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So
back to the actual topic.
back to United, and we'll finish off our segment on United.
The one thing I want to see from United next season, if obviously it's not going to be Ten Hag because his contract expires.
I think he's still got another year, but there is talk they're going to sack him anyway.
A little bit of luck. It's just what the. I got me wrong. The win. His actual win percentage is the highest over any manager since Fergie, and it's actually true. But when we lose,
I don't see progression.
We are shit when we lose.
I don't see progression.
No, when we win, we win. When we lose, we are shocking.
Even Ollie finished second.
Yeah,
I don't. Since Solskjaer, I've not seen a progression. I've not seen progression.
The things that really annoy me as well, it's some of the results that we do lose to. So when we lose to Hughes lot badly,
yeah,
we lose to City.
You should have won that game.
Yeah, we lose to City 6-3. We lose to Liverpool 7-0.
You've been ahead in a lot of games, and you've let it slip. I mean, you had the draw with Forest, the draw with Bournemouth.
Yeah,
and you.
But these teams we should be beating.
Yeah, Adam in the chat has gone Coventry 1-0 today. He can feel it in his fingers and in his toes.
Put the bet on Adam then. You might win some money.
Clearly a wet fan. He's definitely wet behind the ears anyway.
But no, it's just the results when we do lose, as you say, there's nothing from any fucking player playing for that badge. When we lose, we lose.
And is that a reflection on how they feel about the manager?
It's got to be. You go back a few years when we lost when we had Jose in charge. I want to say Ralph Ragnick because he was useless anyway as a manager.
Well, it's a bit of a funny story that I'd seen this week as well, that Jose quite fancies coming back under Radcliffe and under Ineos. And
I'd give it to him.
Been quoted as saying that he feels he has unfinished business. I mean, maybe that's just Jose touting for another big job and a big payday. I don't know, but
the thing is, Jose wins.
Jose does win. United fans just didn't take to him though, and I don't think they liked the pragmatic style of football either.
No, so
I think that's not. But the thing is that I mean, who is out there? I mean, there's been talk about Zidane. I don't see that. I
can't see it.
Well, the thing is that he's always stated he had no interest whatsoever in managing in England, and I just think someone like a Zidane, should he be tempted to go for a job like that, it would be where the club would be in a position where they'd be immediately challenging for trophies, and that's not where you are currently. And I think you're a good say 3 transfer windows off getting that squad where
I'd say more than that as well. So much deadwood to get rid of again, which we never did.
Yeah. I think. I mean, if we look at it, arguably, well, to finish off, we've had we'll go through some key areas in the thing, and we'll write down a couple of names, etc., and we'll see where we are towards the end of the season. Well, when transfer window opens, to see, whether
It's
these sort of
bad in a
players.
minute, but we're being linked with two Everton players. So we've gone from being linked with Real Madrid, Barca.
To be fair,
top players.
one of them is Branthwaite, and he's quality.
Yeah, but another one's Adelaide Decore.
Yeah, that I don't get.
We've gone from having the Ronaldos, the Rooneys, Burbies, he knows a toss us, Tevez, all these top players now are being linked with Everton players.
Well, I'm going to write down an Andy Reid's Man United transfer wish list, and then we're going to see. But these are like realistically, these are names that potentially, could end up there. So defensively, I think goalkeeper wise, I'm still not a fan of Onana.
He's proved himself. He's changed his
gamepad
a lot recently now.
I think you need at least another one centre half. So, Branthwaite is one that's obviously been talked about, and the likes of Real Madrid and that are looking at him as well. Bayern Munich, etc. He's a good young player. Would cost a fair bit of money to get out of Everton, but because of FFP,
if Everton do get, hang on a minute. So
Everton could be in a position where they might have to sell him anyway. For
Everton are 4 clear. Forest are a point above Luton. It's just come up as it stands.
Yeah, I think Everton move on to 28 points as it stands.
Everton on 30, according to this.
I'd say mid to 30. All right, so BBC haven't updated their web table. Useless.
Buy sports for you.
Yeah, right. So if we say Branthwaite that's the player being linked. If I could get a name, midfield wise, a player that you'd quite fancy signing. It's putting you on the spot a bit, but
it is putting me on the spot. I didn't even really.
I think you're crying out for a really decent holding midfielder.
Yeah, Casemiro goes. Lifts the wage massively.
I'd keep McTominay.
I reckon he's playing McTominay completely wrong.
I think I think he's very good as Nate getting forward and getting in the box because he scores goals.
So all the goals he has scored, he's forward.
Yeah, but arguably,
and Scotland,
defensive midfielder.
He's fucking Lionel Messi when he plays for Scotland.
Oh, I mean the quality, yeah. So we're looking at you need to sign a DM. So I'm going to leave that one with you. With the DMs, it's a defensive midfielder. So next time we slide into
the DMs.
Well, yeah, if we get you back on the slide into the DMs before the end of the season, so we can.
I think that's why they're talking about Decore. Because
I just don't see that. I don't see he's anywhere near that kind of quality.
No, God, no. No offense to him. He's playing all right in a minute.
I think, in fact, the young lad Onana would be a better shout, but it costs a lot of money. So, but that would be. Because I'm going to write that one down actually. Onana, I think that would actually be the right kind of player to play alongside Bruno in midfield.
You know who I know. It might obviously what he's gone through recently. I would love to see Greenwood back.
I mean, he's tore it up in Spain. I mean,
he has,
and he's being linked with.
He's innocent.
Yeah, he's being linked. I know United have looked at a couple of Juve players.
There was always talks of Dybala.
We say innocent. The actual line was insufficient evidence to proceed with a case. So,
but then he's back with kids. So,
they're married and they've had kids.
I mean.
So that's a weird situation, and we're not going to dive into that.
No,
but we're getting into trouble.
He big beast.
In terms of a forward player, he is arguably exactly what you need.
I reckon he would get rid of Anthony.
Yeah, and that's where Greenwood would go. 100%. If you were playing like a front three, so you'd have a central striker in Højlund. If Rashford could get his act together, you'd have Rashford on the left. Greenwood. I mean, that's a front three. Greenwood, Højlund, Rashford on paper.
One problem with that. Garnacho.
Yeah. But then you have to vary your tactics. So sometimes you'll go with three more
I wouldn't
recognised
mind
forwards.
seeing Rashford alongside Hoylands
I
because
just don't. I just don't think
Hoylands.
Rashford's good.
Oh,
I
what
don't.
a save, Pickford!
Oh dear,
Fucking 2 yards out. Chris was just blasted it straight at him.
that's Chris Woods who couldn't finish, and couldn't finish in a brothel with 50 pound notes hanging out
They
his ears.
should have been saying, but no, I
Yeah,
wouldn't mind.
I know what you're saying. I mean,
I see
obviously, game by
Garnacho on the
game.
left.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Garnacho. I don't believe. I mean, he certainly ain't gonna. I don't see Ten Hag doesn't play two strikers. So if another manager comes in, might see it differently. But generally, in modern
I
football,
hope so.
not many teams play with two strikers.
When since how many times have we seen Man United play with one striker other than Ten Hag? Because I think under Oli, you had Cavani and Ronaldo. Before that was Lukaku and Zlatan. So we've always had the two strikers, and then
I mean, yeah, I mean,
Hoyland's just getting beasted all the time until we start playing it on the floor and Rashford, Garnacho attacking. Then they knock it into Hoyland. That's when Hoyland scored them 8 goals in 7 games.
I think. I mean, should Greenwood come back? I mean, yeah. I mean, either Rashford or Garnacho off the left, with Greenwood on the right, Hoyland through the middle, and then a holding midfielder, or even
Bruno.
two holding midfielders, and Bruno in the 10. That potentially would be more. But I just don't see. I don't see Ten Hag playing that kind of system. United fans.
When we lose, that's what happens.
Yeah, United fans want quick attacking football, and a 4-3-3 with quick, fast attacking players as the top three up front.
But we've got the pace though.
Yeah, but yeah,
it's just like they don't know how to play. It's like,
well, you haven't got the players that can. You haven't got the players at the moment that can transition that from. You haven't got anyone that in the midfield that will pick the ball up. I might take a bit of stick from this from other fans, but other fans don't see what we see as Chelsea fans, and his stats stack up with any other defensive midfielder in the league. But you don't have someone like a Caicedo who will take the ball off of the centre half or the goalkeeper and turn and move it up the pitch 10, 15 yards, transition it into the attacking phases. I don't see anyone in the Man United midfield that has a capability of picking up the ball and travelling with it.
There was last season, and he's not done it this season. That was Eriksen.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think maybe the age and the health issues and not playing regularly has probably caught up with Eriksen.
Well, that's all he did last season. Eriksen, that's what he did. Come in with Slabhead and Varane.
So I think Kobe Mainoo's done a fantastic job in the midfield, but I think it's maybe a little bit too much pressure to completely focus that midfield around an 18-year-old kid.
That's it. The kid, as you've hit the nail on the head there, the kid is 18.
Yeah, it's too much. You need an experienced, midfielder like an Onana at Everton who can do a bit more of a ball carrying job. Do the dirty work, carry the ball, break lines, and then enable the likes of Mainoo and Fernandes to do their stuff on the ball.
Yeah,
which is where their strengths lie. So going forward, I think you need a defensive midfielder. We'll come back to you in a couple of weeks or so. We'll give you some time to draw up a wish list of players.
How big's the list?
And the thing is, just the crazy thing is you probably ain't that far off it.
The thing is
once you've got, I think Varane will go. Martinez back fit next season makes a massive difference, because even if you sign Braithwaite and you play, you could argue
Slabhead's now 30, isn't he? So he's
I mean, I probably if he stays as West Ham manager, I wouldn't be too surprised if West Ham come back in for him. Because Moyes obviously clearly wants him, and obviously it'll be a cheaper deal because there'll be another year off his contract, etc. So it depends on how you look at it. So if you go out and you sign, say, 2 centre halves, potentially Martinez could move up into midfield and play the defensive midfield role, because he's done that in his career and played that role in the past. He's done that before. Gives great balance to the midfield. Then obviously having a left-footed player in there, he's mobile, great passing range, tenacity on the ball. So
strength for someone who's 5'9", the strength on the bloke.
So there is a potential for something like that. And obviously with Mainu and Fernandez as a 3, with Martinez in there holding, potentially that's something that could work. But your squad also, because you've got to run deep in your squads now. We go into a season if you do have European football, so that's 4 competitions. So the squad has got to run deep. And then once you and to be fair, like with most clubs in the Premier League, once you, other than maybe Man City, once you scratch beneath the surface of your top 11, most clubs don't really carry that much depth. I mean, you've seen the likes of
the only
Liverpool
ones
struggle.
you can, I'd say, is you lot, because of how many players you actually bought.
There is that, but then they're all young players. I mean, if once we get all of our players back from injury, and there's certainly players that will probably end up going out on loan, etc., and some will be sold just to trim the size down, get it down to sort of 24, 25 players again. Everyone fit and the Kunku back and etc. We have got the basis of a very good team going forward if the manager gets given the time to develop it.
Well, it's not like Poch is not a shit manager. He's a cracking manager.
He's a good manager, and there are times where my mind has started going towards Poch out. But I'm like, no, you've got to look at the context behind of what we're doing, and you have to. And we've got the youngest squad in the Premier League,
definitely.
And that's the thing with young players comes inconsistencies. So if United want to go down the roads of bringing younger players in as well, and going down a similar kind of road, then you'll face the same problems.
The thing is, it's always been our problem. It's when, for instance, you're managing another club. You hear that Man United are after one of your players. You go, Man United will bump the price back a bit up.
Of course you do, and it's probably the same with any Premier League club.
Yeah,
because of the amount of money that's floating around in the Premier League with the TV deals, etc.
And then that puts big pressure on these youngsters. Like, well, fuck me, Man United just paid 75 million for me.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Højlund, Anthony were the biggest examples of that.
Yeah, that's it. Right, well, to finish off, I'm going to take a prediction for the rest of the season off of you. I'll write it down. So, where do we think? So, obviously, you're going to go for a win today. So, we're going for an FA Cup final.
Yeah,
which would obviously be a Manchester derby. And ironically, you seem to, against the top 6 teams and the bigger teams, etc., you have seemed to have raised your game. So I wouldn't be surprised if you get to the final against City. I wouldn't be surprised if you turned them over on the day.
That would be nice, because where's Haaland been?
He's had another injury, isn't he? So I don't know how long that injury. I mean, obviously he wasn't even in the squad, travelling squad for the game yesterday. So I don't know how long he's going to be out for.
Half time 1-0.
There we go. Right, so FA Cup. What do you think? Do you think you beat City in the final? I'm going to take your prediction and a score.
I'd say no.
Right, so the FA Cup, no. Right, now,
I don't reckon we'll win.
Where do you think you finish in the league?
It's got to be 6th or 7th. I can't see us getting any higher than that.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb, and you're not going to like me again. My prediction for the league is going to be 8th. Because I just think I think if it goes the way I think it's going to go today, which I've got a funny feeling for Coventry, I think the players' mindset is going to be on the beach.
Yeah.
I think they're down tools. I think they'll be on the beach. There's no silverware to play for. None of them are really going to want to qualify for the Conference League in 7th. I do believe because of the victories for Bayern Munich, an English team's going out of the Champions League. I do believe that the Bundesliga coefficient is ahead of the Premier League now. So they'll get awarded the 5th Champions League.
You got Leverkusen, didn't you, in Europa?
Yeah, that's it. But I think that they'll get pushed ahead of their coefficients, so they'll get the 5th place. So that means that 8th
in the Champions League changing next season.
Yeah, it's becoming bigger, which is why they're allowing
this table thing.
Yeah, so the concept of it is changing a little bit. So it's like it's more of a larger league system rather than the smaller group phases,
Yeah,
etc. It's a bit confusing, but it seems to
we'll
mean
find out.
that the bigger teams will play each other more often in the earlier stages.
Yeah,
That's the way they want it, because obviously the bigger matches, bigger revenue, bigger TV figures, etc. So
that's all they're looking at.
so you're going to go. Should we say sixth as your prediction then for the league? You're going to go on the
Yeah,
positive and go sixth.
yeah.
Right?
Positive sixth, negative seventh.
Right, I'm going to go eighth. So we're going to see who's right. And yeah, and then we'll see where we are. So we're going to have
some of the fixtures we've got. Let me just get our fixtures up. Who we've actually got left?
you've got some tough games.
Yeah. So right, Sheffield United at home.
Yeah.
Oh no, anyway, so where are we? So today Coventry, Wednesday night Sheffield United at home, then
Which
Burnley at home,
should be a win.
Palace
No,
away,
then Palace away. Yeah, then you got
Arsenal at home, Newcastle at home, Brighton away.
Brighton, and that finishes out the season.
Yeah, and then obviously Man City.
So if I'm looking at that, I think you'll beat. I think you'll win both games at Old Trafford against them too. Sheffield United.
I don't reckon we'll beat Newcastle and Arsenal.
Palace away on their day. Palace at home. Atmosphere could be a draw.
Mm.
I don't believe at Old Trafford. I don't believe you're going to beat Arsenal. I'm more leaning towards the Newcastle game being a draw. And I think last day of the season, I think going to the Amex will be a tough game as well, tough fixture.
Brighton are brilliant this season. They're playing some sexy football.
So although I don't think you'll necessarily lose, I think you may drop enough points.
For Chelsea sneak in.
Potentially. And then not even that. I mean, West Ham are hovering thereabouts, albeit you've got a game in hand on them. Brighton are not really out of it. They're only 6 points, and you've got to play them, so they're only 6 points off of you as well.
So 3 points off us then.
Yeah, so it's quite tight, that whole midfield from arguably from Brighton really up to Newcastle. It's a really tight portion of the table, and a lot of the teams are playing each other. I mean, even Wolves have got some. In fact, Wolves play. Do you know what? Wolves play all of the current top three in the running. So, yeah,
they could decide the title.
They could decide. Wolves could decide the title. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. So date wise, if we look at where we are, and we know when the season's going to finish, so I'm thinking we're going to get. I reckon we'll get you back on around about either the Sunday the 5th or the 12th, and then we're really going to be looking then the last couple of fixtures of the season, so we'll have a real understanding of what United season is looking like, finishing like. So
I won't be available for Sunday the 26th of May because at the minute, if Norwich make the playoffs and they win the semi-final playoff,
you'll be working.
We're looking at 120.
You'll be taking them.
We're looking at 120 coaches just for Norwich going to Wembley.
Wow.
Literally, the whole of Norfolk will be going to Wembley. Honestly, the last time Norwich went to the playoffs, there was double deckers, there was coaches, there was buses and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, so as a company's perspective, they're hoping Norwich get promoted.
For those that don't know, have never watched one of our episodes with Andy before. He is a bus and coach driver in Norwich. And yeah, so he gets an intimate...
We do the away days for Norwich Football Club.
Yeah, so he has an intimate knowledge of Norwich. So hopefully he's gonna pull some Norwich fans onto the pod.
I'm trying. I'm tagging so many. I've got all my old colleagues. Most of them are Norwich fans.
I need to stop.
I know half of them running the marathon today.
Need to stop shagging their own families and get on the pod.
I know. Yeah.
Cheap joke at the expense of the people of Norfolk.
Weird. You know what would be weird next season? Ipswich and Norwich in the Prem.
Well, I mean that would be massive. Actually, I am going to do a pod covering the run-ins towards the last fixtures. So I'm going to look at the likes of League One. Obviously,
Who have Norwich actually got left? Let's have a quick look.
well, I mean, obviously Derby. I've got an affection for Derby. I've spent a lot of time in Derby. Been to a few games at Pride Park, etc. Derby in a great position. So
Yes.
I'm going to cover all that in another pod. And just looking at the way the leagues are finishing up, etc. On the last couple of fixtures, what's left to play for promotion, relegation wise, and all that. So yeah.
So Norwich have got Swansea and Birmingham left.
Which arguably both of them lower end of the table. So
Yeah,
you quite fancy
Swansea at Carrow Road, Birmingham at St Andrews.
Yeah,
I think Norwich are 6 clear at the minute, but their team below has got a game in hand.
What I will say is hats off to Ipswich and Kieran McKenna, because the job that he's done there has been phenomenal.
He's done there, but obviously where I live at the minute, they couldn't beat Norwich, and oh my god, the atmosphere. Obviously, because we take the fans back home, that the atmosphere was electric. All they keep saying is, "It's been 15 years since you beat us." It just kept coming on at Ipswich, and Ipswich couldn't say anything because they haven't beaten them in 15 years.
Well, we'll have to try and get them on. We'll have to try and get some Norwich fans on, and we'll see where.
I'm tagging everyone on TikTok who are Norwich fans. I've even got an Ipswich fan.
Well, I'll have to raid into the Norwich Facebook groups, etc., and see if we can get some. I'll put some feelers out and then see if we can get someone on. Yeah. Right. So I think that's it, mate. We've covered the FA Cup, we've covered United, we've covered Ten Hag, and I think that brings us this episode to an end. Team news coming up in about 3 or 4 minutes. So I wish you good luck for today's game.
Need it.
I still fancy Coventry. I will say that, and I'll be watching eagerly on at 3:30 and to see.
BBC, isn't it?
I believe it's ITV today because BBC had yesterday's game.
Oh, the marathon, isn't it?
I believe it'll be on ITV. Today's fixture.
Let's have a look. TV guide. Yeah. ITV one. Because obviously marathon.
Yeah. So be on there. ITV. So
literally
the Man United, a bit of that.
All the build up starts in 3 minutes.
There we go. Perfect. We should be having that on. Anyway, right. So there we go. That's the episode 15 Talk Football Podcast. We are back, and hopefully we're going to have some more episodes coming up over the course of this week. Next Saturday morning, I believe I'm going to be joined by someone for an episode, potentially more than one person. We'll see how that pans out, but we should be looking at a live episode going out next Saturday morning. I've just got to work out the details with him, and we'll be there. So yeah, like I say, every time we do one of these episodes, drop a like, drop a comment, and more importantly, drop a follow.
Even get involved.
It costs you absolutely nothing to drop a follow or a sub, particularly here on the YouTube. And if you are listening across the audio platforms, please give likes to our shows. And if anyone, obviously, that joins us here on YouTube, we are currently on season 4. This has been the first season that I've done it on full video on YouTube. So should you want to catch up with all the other previous seasons, they're all available on audio and wherever you listen to your podcasts. So be that Spotify, Amazon Prime Music, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, etc. These are everywhere. You can get
you name it, it's on there.
All you've got to do is hit the one link, which is across all of our social media on the link tree, and will also be on the description of this video as well. And then that will get you to every aspect. If you want to come on the show and talk about your team, you're more than welcome to do so. It'd be great if we could have a City fan on that could come on, and we could have Andy on at the same time. Yeah, and we could let you two, let the pair of you go at it. Liverpool fans the same, obviously.
From outside. Get the history in.
There we go. So I am going to bring the episode to an end, and there we go.
It's on.
Yeah. That's it. My copyright's gone. But anyway, there we go. We're gonna say goodbye to our viewers on YouTube. Thank you for joining in with the chat, everyone. Adam, Will, and Dylan, much appreciated. Everyone that dropped in and watched, made a comment. So that's that. We'll see you on the next episode.